Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to section 5.5. We take a little bit of a different course here. The rest of the chapter 5 deals with uh, inequalities. Okay, so some vocab that you need to know. Inequalities are the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to signs. So we're going to be dealing with those here, both in one variable and two variable aspects these next couple of sections. So make sure you get this vocab written down. It is critical, especially the stuff down here at the bottom. We'll talk more about it as we go along, but we'll get started here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, dealing with inequalities, dealing with some buzzwords that will tell us what an inequality means. So if we're talking about waffles here, and so we have waffles, and then obviously the number is 6. We're trying to figure out what the inequality is with at least. Okay, so at least says that you're going to have 6 waffles, and you're not going to have any less than that. So you're always going to have more than 6 waffles. So it's greater than, but you also have that equal to part, because you can have 6 waffles and still be good. All right, you can still have the 6, but you always, you want 6 or more. So you have the equal to part to it. So here's talking about the temperature. The temperature is below 40 degrees. So the temperature is less than 40 degrees. If it's below 40, it's not at 40, so it's just less than. We have fewer than 20 calories. That's similar than to what we just did. So it's less than 20. So it's fewer than 20 means it doesn't incorporate the $20 or the 20 calories. We have at most $10. So the most you can have is 10. The least you can have would be 0. You can't have anything more. So this is going to be a less than or equal to sign. So less than or equal to 10. And then here between 35 degrees and 120 degrees, this is what we call a compound inequality. So we have two inequalities written together. So how we write this is we write 35, and since our temperature is between 35 and 120, we have the T in the middle, and then we have the 120 on this side. Since it's less than 120, we have less than 120, but it's greater than 35. And when we think about inequalities, the mouth always has to open up to the bigger object. So we have essentially two less than signs. So 35 is less than T, which is less than 120. This is what we call a compound inequality. Okay, and we'll deal with those as well here in this section. Okay, so we have a compound inequality there. Puts two inequalities into one thing. So this would basically be saying T is greater than 35 and T is less than 120. Okay, so that's this written that way. Okay, and it just looks math people like this version better than this version. Okay, so those are some inequalities in words. Now we're going to have, they're also going to be asking you to graph inequalities. And how we're going to graph these is we're going to graph them on a number line. Okay, and so what we have here is we have a number line. It's got arrows on each side. We put the number 6 right there. You put one number above it and one number below it in the correct spot. So we have 5, 6, 7. And how we do this is, if you just saw at the vocab spot, inequalities that have the greater than or less than sign is an open circle. So we circle the value of 6, and then we're going to shade the direction that is true. So where are numbers greater than 6? Well, numbers are greater than 6 to the right, so we shade that way. We have T is less than 140. So we have, or T is less than 40, not 140. We have T is less than 40. We've got 40, 41, 39 over there. Okay, since this is a greater than or less than or equal to sign, we shade in our circle. So now our circle becomes dark, and like that. And we say, okay, where is T less than 40? Well, t is less than 40 to the left, so it's shaded that way. Okay. The next one we have 49 is greater than or equal to x. So we have 49 in the middle, we got 50 there, 48 there. Okay, so they're wondering, okay, where is 49 greater than x? And 49 would be greater than x this way. So x is technically less than 140. And the easiest way to graph these is to write them in terms of the variable coming first. So 49 is greater than x is the same as x is less than 49. We flip the entire thing. So now if you notice here we have w greater than 6, the arrow is pointing to the right, we shade to the right. T less than 40, arrows pointing to the left, shades to the left. We write this so that the variable comes first and it shades that way. Okay, so that's just a little trick to help you out there. Now, this next one here, we have a compound inequality. We'll write 34 there and 120 there. Okay, so we write them just in the two numbers. That's all we need. They already give themselves help there. As far as order is concerned, both of them are less than inequalities. So or in terms there, the easiest one to shade would be the p is less than 120. So we shade this way. If we think about 34 is less than p, we think about it what we set up top. So p is technically greater than 34. So now we can see we shade into the middle. So this compound inequality, all the values that make it true happen in the middle. Okay. And so then the last aspect here that we're going to talk about this section is solving inequalities. When we solve inequalities, we solve them exactly like normal equations. So we have 6x plus 4 is greater than 10. We solve this exactly the same as this is a two-step equation. We minus 4, we minus 4. We get 6x is greater than 6. We divide by 6, divide by 6. X is greater than 1. That's our final answer. We got to make sure that we have the inequality in there. So x is greater than 1. Now the only thing that's different when we're solving inequalities is this next example. So we have 8x plus 14 greater than or equal to 46. Draw down my line. This stays the same at minus 14 on each side. So we get negative 8x is greater than or equal to, this would be a 32. Now what happens here is we divide by a negative 8. We divide by a negative 8. We have x. This gives us an answer of negative 4. Okay, where it changes, and we saw this in the vocab, the earlier part, when you multiply or divide by a negative on each side. Okay, so we multiply or divide by a negative on each side. We flip the inequality. So what we have here is this inequality is there. We see that we multiply or divided by a negative 8 on each side. So now our inequality is going to flip and become less than or equal to negative 4. So that becomes our final answer. All right, so that's section 5.5. Make sure that you are practicing the stuff, getting your work completed. If you have any other questions, make sure you let me know, and have a good day.